Hello everybody, here is Annika and my country life here in the south of Sweden. I am now in my greenhouse, and this was built some years ago, I think maybe 5 years ago, and it is made by bus windows. I had a friend who was a bus mechanic, and when the windows on the buses became so dusty, so you couldn't see clear through it, they have to change it. So he kept these old bus windows and made a greenhouse for himself and for his brother, and then I got also some windows. So his brother helped me to build it then. So it's made by wood and these windows. And I think that's quite good. They are double, the windows, and that means that it keep it not too warm, too hot, and not too cold either. So it's a good climate in here. The problem is that I have some high trees and bushes here that shadow it during the summer. But I hope I can get permission to take away some of it this winter and spring. Yes, and you see it's quite messy. I have a lot of things here now. I always have a lot of things here, but I have sown some flowers this autumn, late summer, and they are standing here, but it's also a lot of other things. And now I took my one of my Bokashi buckets with me. I don't know if you know what Bokashi is, but it's a way to make compost. So I put vegetable things, potato piles and a lot of things that you otherwise throw away. I put it in this bucket. Here are some ways that I'm gonna put into the Bokashi bucket. It is potato and carrot peelings. It is coffee filters and sandpaper. You can use sandpaper, but not too much. And here is something from the pumpkin. Yeah, such things. This white is no problem. It's the natural broke down. It was from the geranium also. Let's see, some leaves. I press it down. I have this thing, but you can use a bottle or whatever just to press. When it's full, it will be no air in it. And here I keep this, and now this is microorganisms. I take some, not too much. That's enough. You can check on internet. You search on internet for Bokashi, and then you will get some more information. And to find where in your country you can find this. When a bucket is full, I keep it 2 weeks indoors in that temperature, and then you can put it aside, put it outside or something, or you can dig it down when it's possible. And it's not freezing here in the greenhouse, not yet. So it's possible to dig here. And I have digged a hole here. It doesn't look tasty inside here, so don't look too close, but that's no problem. That's no problem at all. When it's summer, this will break down in 4 weeks, and you will find almost nothing. Some eggshells maybe or so. But now it's colder, so I don't think it happens so much. But soon the spring is here, and the process will start down here in the soil. And that will be very good for the tomatoes and other things that I grow here. I grow almost tomatoes, most of them, and some cucumbers and some small things, basilica, but mostly it's the tomatoes. As you see, this bucket has a tap here, and there you can open and collect the liquid that stays down here, and that liquid I use then for the flowers and yeah, everything that grows, to feed them. I mix it with water. I grew up in the countryside, 2 hours driving from here, and our place was surrounded by forest. We couldn't see any neighbors, but they lived there about 500 meters away if we went through the woodland on a path. If we were going by bicycle or car, it was a long way. And my dad worked as in a carpenter factory, but we also had some animals, and we were growing things for our household. We had 2 cows, and sometimes chickens, sometimes turkeys, sometimes rabbits, and of course dogs and cats. My dad was fishing and also hunting moose and roe deers. In the middle of the 70s, my parents sold the cows and instead we got sheep. Then Daddy didn't have to go up early in the morning for milking the cows before he went to work, and the same when he came home from work. It was a little bit easier for him. We grew potatoes and all the kind of vegetables we used in the household, and it was quite traditional for the Swedish time. It was carrots, beetroots, peas, gherkins, dill and parsley, and other things. My daddy didn't like fresh vegetables. He ate only boiled or pickled. But Mommy, she did eat also the fresh ones, and so did we children. In the garden were also apple trees, pears, plums, cherries, strawberry, raspberry, and also wild strawberries. In the forest we picked blueberries and lingonberries, and we also picked mushrooms. At that time there was no wild boars in this area of Sweden, but they came. But my daddy never saw a wild boar in the wild. He only saw them destroying in the forest. I grew up and moved to different towns and cities in Sweden. I lived in apartments until 2006. Then I moved to this part of Sweden, this area, this region. And first I rented a house, a small house and a small garden, maybe 30 square meters. But I started to plant more flowers and so on. But I wanted to have a known place. And 2012 it was possible for me to buy this house. And I love to be here. The house is from the year 1900. It still have its old windows and the old ornaments. And I want it to be like that. But 2019, I built this newer part. That's bathroom there, and it's a new entrance. And that's where we're gonna sit soon. The garden is 1600 square meters, including the buildings. It's a good area for me. Sometimes I want more, but it's enough. It is. Here I live in a village in the countryside. From the beginning it was some farms, and you can see some of the buildings over there. There are the farms. But in the beginning, the end of the 19th century, it was built a railway here. And then more buildings grew up and shops and so. Now all that is gone, the railway is gone and the shops is gone. But here lives a lot of nice people. This part of the garden I didn't use first when I moved here. It's a slope, and it was only grass growing here. There were blackberries there. See, there it is, blackberries. And I planted a plum tree also, but nothing more in the beginning. But 2015 I started making cultivation beds here. Because it's a slope, I made terraces, first of brick and wood frames, and I have done some changes during the years, but it has expanded more and more for every year. As you see, it is raised beds, and that's not because of the slope, but it's only because of I have a very hard clay here in the whole garden, and the whole area here is very hard clay. So when it's wet, it's very wet and slippery, and when it's dry, it's very hard as stone in the ground. So I have built up these beds with soft soil, so the vegetables and the plants can grow there easier. I get silage from the farmers, and that is grass who is fermented, and it's food for the creatures. I also use all kind of grass clippings, manure, and so on. All the waste from the garden I just put on the beds. And that makes it also easier to keep the moisture in the ground. Why do I grow vegetables? Of course, because it's fun. I would never do it if I thought it was the most boring things in the world. I like this, I am interested in this, I have it in my genes, I think, since I grew up. And I like to live this country life in different ways. Every year I evaluate what I have done during the year in the garden and which vegetables I shall grow next year. So let's go indoors now, look at my seeds and have a talk about it. So here I am with my seeds and some vegetables I have grown. I have 3 questions when I are going to start a new growing season. The first one is, what do I like to eat? The second one is, how can I use it in the cooking? And how do I store it? And there are some things I grow a lot of, and one is onion, yellow onion. It's very easy to store it. Not always so easy to grow it. You have to check that it gets enough water. Otherwise it starts blooming. But it's easy to store it, and I use it a lot in all cooking together with all kind of meat, and so a lot of onion I use. And garlic is also easy to store. You dry it like the onion, and no special temperature, just indoors. I don't use as much garlic as I use onion, but it's very good to have it, and sometimes I give away some garlic when it's too much. And now I have ordered the garlic. I have already sown. I did it in November, December I think. So it is in the ground already. I have ordered small bulbs of onion, and I chose the variety Seton, and it's the one who is very good to store for a long time. And also a red onion called Red Baron, and it will come in March. Yes, and tomatoes. I can never get too much tomatoes. Sometimes in late summer, autumn, when you pick all of it, you think it's too much, but just use it and it's very good. During the summer I go and eat tomatoes like candy, or the small cherry tomatoes. When you're passing by, you just take a tomato and put in the mouth. So, and I will grow tomatoes both in the greenhouse and outdoors. And here are the varieties. Varieties. I always have Gardener's Delight. It's a cherry tomato, a high one. That's I always have that. I also used to have Vilma. It's a low tomato, bush tomato, also cherry. And I have kept also some, I picked some seeds from the tomatoes. So this is Money Maker. It's a normal size tomato for the greenhouse too. So here are a lot of seeds in that. I use the coffee filter, it's very good to use. And I have bought some new varieties. And I have bought some new varieties. It's Hanging Tomato, Tumbling Tom Red and Tumbling Tom Yellow. They hang down. And these are the two I'm gonna use to grow outside. This is bush tomatoes, yet you don't have to remove side shots on. And it's two Polish kinds. I never used them before. Promyk is one called. That one you should take away the side shots, yes. Yeah. But this one, I don't think, it's no picture of this one, but it's called Ola Polka. And that's a yellow tomato. So it's nice to try some new varieties each year. So a lot of tomatoes everywhere. And this year I also want to have more sweet pepper, because it's also easy to use in your cooking. I don't use so much chili, but sweet pepper is good. So this is Marconi Rosso and California Wonder. I have used them before. And here is a new one. Frigitello. It sounds Italian. Frigitello. They are longer. Small, very sweet. Conical fruits. Perfect for stir fries. And some chili. This is not hot chili. Lombardo. Some of maybe 1 or 2 plants only of that one. And what is this called in English? Kapkrusbär. And I have kept other seeds also from tomatoes here, and I just put them in a paper like this and have the seeds inside there. So gold nugget, it is a good one. It's a yellow cherry tomato. Very sweet. I just make like this and keep it. You can keep it for many years. It's easy to grow tomatoes. Yeah, that was that. And here are the peas and beans. And I have decided to not grow so many green beans. I have green beans here, but I think I don't eat so much of it. I freeze it and it's okay. But this year I want to grow more borlotto beans. And I want the high ones, because I have trellis and I think it's good to have it high. This one is 120 centimeters, so it's not so high, but it comes up from the ground. I think that's good, because they shall dry there, and if it's very wet it could rot instead. So here are some borlotti beans I have dried, and I think that's easy to store when you can dry it, just in glass jars or something, and then you lay it in water before you use it, so it gets more soft again. And I also have bought a lot of broad beans. Super agua dulce. It's Italian also. Very early. And I think I have another one here too. This one is crimson flowered. They are more pink flowers, and the flowers are smelling very good. So, and peas. This is shell peas, Carina. Also high, I think. Only 65 centimeters. So that's shell peas, and I also have sugar snaps, yes. And that's a high one, 160 centimeters. And that is one very sweet and good. So I try to grow a lot vertical. I think that's good. And here are the rows. And of course I have carrots. An early carrot, we call it summer carrot. Nantes 2. It's the early one. And a late one is Saint Valery. And it's easier to keep that one during the winter and store it. And those are bigger too, they are very big and thick. And here is parsnip, white gem, and another one is root parsley. They're also white, and you can use the leaves there like ordinary parsley. And beetroots, red one, but I like the yellow one more. Yellow beetroot. So that's, I'm gonna grow a lot. And early in the spring I grow radish. Radish and lettuce. That's the first things. So here I have the lettuce, and I have different kinds. I don't know which one I want to choose. Maybe some different. Gustav's salad, that's more for the greenhouse. A smaller Yugoslavian red, that's no picture, it's a red one. Iceberg salad, Great Lakes, 118. May König, and Itsy Bitsy. It's also for greenhouse, I think. More warmer place. And Little Gem. And I have Rocket also. So I'm gonna show some of these and grow early outside. And the pumpkins and cucumbers and gherkins. And this one I like a lot. It's the spaghetti pumpkin. And I think I got 9 this year or something. But I think I want to grow more of it. Because it's easy to store. I used to have it in this room and I have a lower temperature here. And I still use it, it's no problem. So that's, you see, it's called vegetable spaghetti, yes. That's the name of it. And I just cook it in the oven, upside down. I cut it half and upside down and some little bit of water. And when it's soft through, you just take a fork and take it out and it looks like spaghetti. So that's my favorite. And this is a winter squash. I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe it is it this one? Uchikikuri? No, I don't think that's the one. I have another one over there. It looks more like that one. I maybe don't have any left. But this year I have bought another winter squash. Let's see, it's this one, blue curry, and I have not used that before. That we'll try. And I also have baby beer, it's also a new one for me. And maybe I should try to grow them vertically also. I've not done that, but pumpkins, they need a lot of space. And it's easier if you can grow them high, vertically. Maybe not the spaghetti pumpkin because they are so heavy. So you have to have some baskets or something to keep it up. And the summer squash also. I maybe need only 2 plants. They give so much. More than enough. And cucumbers. Bait alpha I can use outdoors too. Both in the greenhouse and the outdoors. And this is a new one for me, Market More 76. Oh! Sorry. It was the lettuce. And gherkins. I salt them in a quick salted liquid. I can show you this summer. I boil water and no, I don't boil it. It's cold water. 1 liter water, 1 deciliter salt, and then I pick dill and leaves from the vinbär. Yes. and lay them down there in the liquid, and they got so salted and good. You can't store it for a long time, but it's very good. It's the best way to use them, I think. Yes. And now we come to the kale and cabbage. We use the same word for kale and cabbage, kål. And I want the pointed cabbage I like a lot. And this year I grew calibos. It's even more beautiful than on this picture. Very red. And here I have also Wheeler's Imperial, and I used that one too this year. And here's another one, Jersey Wakefield. And broccoli I also use a lot. Waltham. And Ramoso Calabrese. And this is a broccoli I didn't grow. I grew it 1 year, some years ago, I think. Romanesco Natalino. It's the yellow one. It's some mix. And I like kohlrabi, Noriko. And this one is very beautiful, Wiener Blå. It's nice with the colored vegetables. And this is Wiener White. Cauliflower, early snowball, eggs. And Brussels sprouts, Long Island. And the kale, Nero di Toscana. And maybe some Savoy cabbage, Bertus 2. And dwarf green curled. It's a green kale. So here is this, we call it white cabbage, vitkål, sunta. It's an early one, so I will try that one this year. I have also another one here, Amager Kurzstrunkig. But maybe I use this one this year. I don't know how many plants of each I'm gonna grow. It depends on the space I have, and I try to not plant them so close to each other. I do that sometimes, too close. But if they have space around them, they grow bigger, I think. So I'll try to do the best this year. But I have a lot of space, so that's no problem. Yes, that's all. And dill and parsley also. I also always have. And I already have chives because it's perennial. And I have wild garlic also up in the corner of the garden. I have planted 2 or 3 plants there some years ago, and last year they came up leaves everywhere from the wild garlic, and I saved it so it had to grow more. But this year I'm gonna harvest some of it. Yes. That's the thing I'm gonna grow, and also I like to grow berries. I like berries a lot. So I have some strawberries. I took away some old plants this autumn, but I have some new plants. I hope I will get a lot of strawberries. And I also have raspberries. But it's difficult to grow raspberries here because of the clay. They don't like that. It's too wet for them. But I have tried to do a raised bed for them too, and we will see this coming year if it works. I need to fill it up with more soil, I think. Some people, they have very problems with the raspberries because they spread everywhere. But I don't have that problem. I want them to spread, but they don't do it. And of course I have the blackberries. You saw I had the bushes there. And they always give me a lot of berries, so they are very good. Okay, that's it for today. And I'm really longing for the spring now, and I'm longing to show you all things that I want to grow in the garden and how it looks when it's green and starting all over again. Thank you for watching, and you are welcome to subscribe, and I'm also thankful if you give me a thumb up. Then more people will find my channel, and I'm very thankful for your support. And I'm very glad when you give me a comment and tell me where you live and what you like about gardening. So have a good time until we see you again. I am back soon. Bye bye.